Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a wild one, even for me. We're talking about conspiracy theories, but not just any conspiracy theories, the ones that turned out to be true, like, can you believe that? Things people thought were crazy, things people got laughed at for believing. They were right all along. I'm talking government secrets, crazy experiments, it's all messed up, and it's all real. So get ready to go down the rabbit hole with me, and let's get shook together. Okay, so MK Ultra. You guys have probably heard of this one, right? MK Ultra is one of those things that sounds too wild to be true, but it actually happened. It's like the ultimate conspiracy theory. Imagine a secret government program designed to control people's minds. Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi thriller, doesn't it? The CIA messing with people's minds, trying to control them like puppets. They were seriously trying to figure out how to manipulate human behavior on a massive scale. Sounds like a movie, right? Well, it's not. This was real life, and it was happening behind closed doors. For years people were like, the CIA is totally drugging people, hypnotizing them, doing all this crazy stuff to control their minds. And it wasn't just a few isolated incidents. This was a widespread, systematic effort, and the CIA was all, nope, you're crazy. That's just a conspiracy theory. They denied everything, making people who suspected the truth seem like paranoid lunatics, but guess what? They were lying. When documents were finally declassified, the truth came out, and it was even more shocking than anyone had imagined. Turns out, MK Ultra was totally real. The program ran from the early 1950s until it was officially halted in 1973, but its effects lingered long after. The CIA really was experimenting on people, trying to find ways to control their minds. They conducted these experiments in secret, often without the subject's knowledge or consent. They used drugs, hypnosis, even torture, all kinds of messed up stuff. LSD was one of their favorite tools, and they administered it to unsuspecting people to see how it would affect their minds. Imagine being given a powerful hallucinogen without your knowledge, and then being subjected to psychological manipulation. It's terrifying to think about, and it wasn't just civilians who were targeted. Military personnel, prisoners, and even mental patients were subjected to these experiments. When the truth finally came out, there were congressional hearings and people were horrified by what they learned. The extent of the program and the sheer disregard for human rights were staggering. Public outrage was immense, and it led to significant changes in how government agencies operate. But the scars left by MK Ultra remain, a dark chapter in history that serves as a cautionary tale. Today, we have stricter ethical guidelines and oversight to prevent such abuses from happening again. But the story of MK Ultra reminds us to stay vigilant and question authority. So next time you hear about a wild conspiracy theory, remember MK Ultra. Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. Mind control might sound like science fiction, but as MK Ultra shows us, it's all too real. So, World War II just ended, right? The world was in a state of euphoria. The Allies had triumphed, and there was a sense of relief and hope for a brighter future. People were dancing in the streets, soldiers were coming back home to their families, and there was a collective sigh of relief that the nightmare was finally over. The Nazis are defeated, the world is trying to heal. Cities that had been reduced to rubble were beginning to be rebuilt, and people were mourning the loss of loved ones while trying to piece their lives back together. The scars of war were deep, but there was a determination to move forward and create a better world. And then we find out that the US government is like, hey, let's recruit some Nazi scientists to come work for us. It sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what happened. The US government saw an opportunity to harness the knowledge and expertise of these scientists, many of whom had been working on advanced technology and weapons during the war. What? That's basically what Operation Paperclip was. It was a secret program to bring these scientists to America, give them new identities, and put them to work on various projects. The idea was to gain an edge in the emerging Cold War against the Soviet Union. The US government brought over a bunch of Nazi scientists and engineers, like thousands of them, and gave them jobs working on secret projects. These weren't just any scientists. They were some of the brightest minds in fields like rocketry, aeronautics, and chemical engineering. They had been working on cutting-edge technology that the US wanted to exploit. They said it was to stay ahead of the Soviets in the Cold War, but still, people were outraged, obviously. The idea of giving these former Nazis a free pass and even rewarding them with jobs and new lives in America was shocking to many. It felt like a betrayal of the very principles the Allies had fought for. They were like, these are Nazis, we can't just let them off the hook. There were protests, and people were demanding justice. They wanted these individuals to be held accountable for their actions during the war, not given a second chance in a new country. But the government was like, "Don't worry, we'll keep an eye on them." Yeah, right. The reality was that many of these scientists were given a lot of freedom and resources to continue their work. The government believed that the benefits of their expertise outweighed the moral and ethical concerns. It was a controversial decision that still sparks debate to this day, and you know what? Some of these scientists made significant contributions to American science and technology. For example, Wernher von Braun, a former Nazi, became a key figure in the development of the US space program. His work was instrumental in getting Americans to the moon. It's a complicated legacy, to say the least. But it wasn't just about rockets and space. These scientists were involved in a wide range of projects, some of which were highly classified. There were advancements in fields like medicine, engineering, and even psychological warfare. The Cold War was a time of intense competition, and the US was willing to go to great lengths to stay ahead. Over the years, more information about Operation Paperclip has come to light. Historians and researchers have uncovered documents and testimonies that reveal the extent of the program and the ethical dilemmas it posed. It's a fascinating and troubling chapter in history that forces us to confront difficult questions about morality, justice, and the pursuit of knowledge. Today, the legacy of Operation Paperclip continues to be felt. The advancements made by these scientists have had a lasting impact on various fields, but the ethical questions remain. How do we balance the pursuit of knowledge with the need for justice? Can we ever truly separate the scientist from their past actions? These are questions that continue to resonate as we look back on this controversial chapter in history. As we remember the past, it's important to reflect on these complex issues. History is rarely black and white, and the story of Operation Paperclip is a reminder of the difficult choices that nations sometimes make in the pursuit of progress. It's a story that challenges us to think critically about the intersection of science, ethics, and history. Okay, this one is just straight up evil. The Tuskegee syphilis study. This study is one of the darkest chapters in American medical history, a glaring example of how ethical boundaries can be completely disregarded in the name of so-called scientific progress. This is like a textbook example of how messed up things can get when the government thinks they can get away with anything. The study began in 1932 under the guise of providing free medical care to African American men in rural Alabama. But the reality was far more sinister. So, for 40 years the US government studied black men with syphilis without ever telling them they had it. These men were misled, told they were being treated for bad blood, a term used to describe various ailments, but never syphilis. They were never informed of their diagnosis, nor were they given proper treatment. They just let these men suffer, even though there was a cure available, penicillin. Penicillin became the standard treatment for syphilis in 1947, yet the men in the study were deliberately denied this life-saving medication. Instead, they were given placebos and ineffective treatments, all in the name of research. They lied to them, told them they were getting free health care. It's disgusting. The men trusted the doctors and nurses, believing they were receiving genuine medical care. In reality, they were being used as human guinea pigs, their health and lives sacrificed for the sake of a study that provided no benefit to them. This study went on for decades, and it wasn't until a whistleblower came forward that the truth finally came out. People were horrified. In 1972, Peter Buxton, a former Public Health Service employee, leaked information about the study to the press. The public outcry was immediate and intense, leading to the study's termination. It was a huge scandal, and it led to major changes in the way medical research is conducted. The Tuskegee syphilis study prompted the establishment of the National Commission for the Protection of Human Subjects of Biomedical and Behavioral Research, which laid the groundwork for modern ethical standards in medical research. The Belmont Report, published in 1979, outlined key principles such as respect for persons, beneficence, and justice, which are now fundamental to ethical research practices. Today, informed consent is a cornerstone of ethical medical research, ensuring that participants are fully aware of the nature of the study and any potential risks involved. The legacy of the Tuskegee syphilis study serves as a stark reminder of the importance of ethical standards and the need to protect vulnerable populations from exploitation. The victims of the Tuskegee syphilis study were finally acknowledged and compensated, but the scars of this atrocity remain. Memorials and educational programs have been established to honor their memory and to educate future generations about the importance of ethical conduct in medical research. The story of the Tuskegee syphilis study is a powerful lesson in the need for vigilance and accountability in the pursuit of scientific knowledge. So, you know how the FBI is supposed to be all about protecting us from criminals and terrorists? Well, back in the 50s and 60s, they were doing some pretty shady stuff. They were spying on people, infiltrating groups, spreading rumors, all to discredit and disrupt political activists. This program was called COINTELPRO, and it targeted all sorts of groups, from the civil rights movement to the anti-war movement. They even went after Martin Luther King Jr. They tapped his phone, sent him threatening letters, tried to ruin his reputation. It was messed up. This one is straight out of a history book, but it's so crazy it deserves to be on this list. The Gulf of Tonkin incident was a supposed attack on U.S. Navy ships by North Vietnamese forces in 1964. It was a huge deal, and it led directly to the U.S. escalating its involvement in the Vietnam War. Except it turns out the attack never really happened. Or at least it wasn't nearly as clear-cut as the government made it seem. There's evidence that the U.S. might have even provoked the attack or at least exaggerated what happened. So, yeah, those are just a few of the craziest conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. It just goes to show you can't always believe what you hear, even from the government. Sometimes the truth really is stranger than fiction. What do you guys think? Are there any other conspiracy theories you believe are true? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more mind-blowing content. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more mind-blowing content. See you next time.